Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. Today we're having Wiener Schnitzels. Now, what are they? Most people think of veal, you think of veal cutlets, but Germany used pork and made pork cutlets, and that's what's called Wiener Schnitzels. And this is what I'm making today. So you're gonna have to go. I walked all over the place to find pork cutlets, and I finally found a place, and the man said, yeah, we have them. I said, oh, thank God, because I've been walking all over the place trying to find it. What you're going to do is you're going to need a bowl. You're going to put 2 eggs and a tablespoon of milk in it, and you're going to beat it together. All right, now in a plate you're going to use breadcrumbs. I made my breadcrumbs yesterday while those tomatoes were cooking. I got bread. If you want to know how to make your own breadcrumbs, then you can season them up with Italian seasoning or with cheese, or you can make breadcrumbs with cheese and Italian seasonings. And if you don't like those as seasonings, do plain breadcrumbs, and you can go in any direction. What you do is you get plain toast. I don't care if it's rye, whole wheat, or white, but most people will use white. And what you do is you cut it like you would normally. Well, if you make bread, you slice it, and what you do is you turn your broiler on. Make sure your shelf is up at the top. You get your broiling pan out, and you put the sliced bread on it. You put it in the broiler. Make sure the door is ajar, because that heat keeps climbing. And as it toasts, you pull out you take the broiler pan out, flip the bread, and toast it on the other side. Then what you do is you get a grater, and where it's toasted, you just grater it, and you make your own breadcrumbs. And when you take all that's been toasted, you put those pieces back on the broiler pan and do it again in the oven on broil. And when they toast, you flip them over again, and that's how I did it. I just kept grating till I didn't have any bread left. It was falling apart, the very, very thin slices, and this is what I came up with. Now, they will be a little darker than what you get in the store, because they do theirs, and, well, they take stale bread and they just grater it, and they charge you for it. And you could easily do it all by yourself. Now, you're going to need a plate with plain flour on it. I told you about the 2 eggs and the milk. You have to beat those. And you got your breadcrumbs. Now what you have to do is, you can see these are thin. They're real thin. You're going to sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper on them. And by a pound only gives you approximately 5 of these. But since I am going out, it'll be my 2 sons eating this, and pray that they leave 1 slice for me. So I would like to try this, because I have not had this in many, many years. Well, of course, my husband knew German people as well. He knew a lot of people from all over, and they introduced a lot of dishes to me. But this is where I get so many dishes, and can I repeat them? Yeah, if I can find them. This is when you end up with a lot of cookbooks and a lot of recipes, because people used to share them. Flip them over and do the other side with salt and pepper. This is before we do anything with them. Make sure you don't add so much salt that you're going to dry these out, because they're very, very thin. You have to be very, very careful. So that's why I'm just sprinkling it with my fingers, pinching it, just to make sure, that I don't get too much on it. So if you get a pound of these, it's just about 5. Now, I gotta turn my pan on. Now, they're only gonna cook about a minute and a half, and your pork cutlets should not be, it has to be thinner than 1/4 inch. You're gonna put about 3 tablespoons of oil into your frying pan. I love the way they tell me 3. I never know. Because we're sauteing them. We're not going to deep batter fry them or anything, so that's why they're telling you just to put 3 tablespoons in, but that usually means they're going to saute them. So we're going to wait for this to get. Now what you're going to do is you're going to flour it. Let me get these I'm a bit crowded here, so I'm going to have to tell you what I'm doing because there's no place to put you if I do this. They say flour it. Shake the excess flour off. Then dip it in the egg mixture. And that's what I'm doing right now. And put it in the breadcrumbs and press it into the breadcrumbs so the breadcrumbs stick to them. Then all we're going to do is fry it. And that's Wiener Schnitzels. Just a German word. That's all it is. I think it's interesting that they did it with pork because a lot of people wouldn't know this unless you eat German food or you know you're German or you have a friend. So it's always nice to know people. And cooking usually brings people together. Oh, Pip is still sleeping. That's why he's so quiet. Oh my goodness. I wonder how much these are going to shrink or not shrink. I'll have to put the first one in and see before I can go much further. So let's see if I can move you over without knocking everything all over the place. Oh gosh. Just trying to make some room for you. Now remember, you don't want your oil to smoke. Once you burn the oil, anytime you're frying, if it starts to smoke, you've burnt it. So I'm going to be reaching across. I'm sorry. I've got everything spread out over here. So if you see somebody burning oil, and they use that oil, that can cause cancer. So you have to be very, very careful. And they say keep adding oil as you need it. And here it is. So this is a dish you have to move a little quickly on. If you can get a butcher, you are in luck. Where did I put? Oh, listen, I'm losing things over here. So anyway, I hope you try this dish. It's an oldie but goodie. So I'm going to finish this up and I will be back. Okay, here they are. Wiener Schnitzels, better known as pork cutlets for us. Take care. Bye-bye.